Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Hollywood, and I'm back with another dope video. And today's video is really lit because this is really special to me. This is going to be the video that, a lot of you requested for me to do. That when you found out my story about me and my ex-fiance, you wanted to know a little bit more about how we met. So I thought, why not be, the perfect example for you guys that love is love, by telling you my story and telling you exactly how it happened and how me and Colin B met. So, if you want to find out what happens at the end of this video, then you already know what I need you to do. Keep watching. So I am a little nervous for some reason. I don't know why, so please bear with me. I also just ask that in this story there is no judgment zone. This is a very sensitive topic for me, being that my ex-fiance is no longer with us. He has passed away and is now in heaven. So I just ask that you please be respectful in the comments. Please give me a big thumbs up in this video right now. Also, if you are not already, please subscribe to my channel. And yeah, so this story is very interesting. Like, you guys are not going to believe this story when I tell you, but like, it's so true. Colin and I actually were supposed to film this video together. Like, this was something that I kind of wanted us to do. Like, I was still kind of, iffy about starting a couples channel or doing anything with my significant other on my channel, just because, like, you got to be careful with that type of thing when you're just putting yourself out there and your relationship. Like, once you put it out there, you truly then open up the door for everyone to have an opinion. So I was very hesitant about doing this video together, but it was something that we talked about a lot. And since he is not here with us anymore and is not able to share the story, I'm going to share the story on both of our behalves. So Colin and I met back in, I believe it was probably like around 2015, 2016, roughly around that time. And it was a true serendipity type of story. Like, literally, it was like meant for us to meet. Like, that was part of the reason why, like, I felt like I had to give this relationship a try, because I had never ever met anyone so authentically and so naturally that I was like, what, this has to be a sign from God. So, okay, here's the story. One day, I'm at work. I used to work at this retailer. I'm going to call it Retail Hell because I don't want to say their name. But if you can tie any type of connections with that name, then you know what I'm talking about or who I'm talking about. So, I was working at Retail Hell, and literally, I end up getting really busy. It got to the point where I was like moving left and right. So I'm talking to this couple. They're getting like 3 different bags from me, designer bags. So, when somebody's spending that type of money, you gotta move quick, because you can't give them too much time to think, to be like, maybe I don't need to spend this much money on these 3 bags. So I'm moving quick. So, when we were in handbags, our stockroom was on the 2nd floor. So I literally had to go all the way up to the 2nd floor to go get them freshly new bags, because of course they didn't want the display bags or the bags that were on the floor. All right, so I'm running up and I go to grab these bags, and literally while I'm on my way to grab these bags, I see Colin. And Colin is standing there, and like, he's kind of walking towards me as I'm walking towards him. And he's in like all black. He has on this long black top coat, this like very Steven Tyler low brim hat, like all around, like looking so mysterious and like a vampire. Like that was such his look. And he's like walking towards me, and when we get close to each other, he stops me and he was like, "Oh, you're gorgeous." And to this day, he argues, like, I remember we used to get into it about this all the time because he swears up and down that he did not say that. But guys, he really did say that. Like, he stopped me on my tracks and was like, "Oh, you're gorgeous." Like, he tried to say something like, I said something to him. I don't know what it was, but guys, take my word. He's like, "You're gorgeous." And I was like, "Oh, thank you. You're very handsome yourself." And he was like, "Oh," and I was like, "I'm sorry, I'm kind of like busy right now. I can't really talk, but it was great seeing you." And he was like, "Oh, I understand you're busy. I don't want to stop you, but I just wanted to let you know I really enjoy your look." So I'm like, "Oh, okay, thank you." So I walk away from him, I go grab the bags, and I'm like, rushing back to my clients because I'm like, "Honey, look, I can't miss out on the coin. Like, I need to make sure that this transaction goes through, that I'm not taking too long, that they're not about to leave out." So, I hurried up and got back to the coin. And, I was thinking that was the last time that I was ever going to see this man. I was like, "Oh, great." Like, he said that he was into me, or like, he liked me or whatever, or that he liked my look, so I'm never going to see him again, whatever. Now, I had a friend at the time. We were going to call this friend Edward. So Edward and we were like besties at the time. And he was like, "I'm going to hook you up with someone. Like, I'm going to set you up. Like, just wait. Like, I'm going to find them. Just let me do my work." So I'm like, "Okay, whatever." So that night, I end up, like, I'm at home, and my friend comes over, and he is like, "Oh my God, bitch, you will never believe, like, I met someone for you. I got someone for you. Like, this is the person for you. Like, I'm telling you, I'm telling you." So, I'm like, "Oh my God, who is it? Who is it?" And he's like, "Oh, you just wait. Like, I'm going to give you his number. Like, you have to text him. Like, you're going to text him, and it's going to be great." So I'm like, "Okay, whatever." Like, I've never done anything like this, but I guess, like, if I'm going to text him, like, all right, I'll text him. So he gives me his number, and he was like, "Send him a text." So I was just like, "Oh my God, who is this person? Like, I don't even know who this is. I don't know what the person looks like. Like, what is going on?" So finally I text the person, and I was just like, "Hey, this is Deshawn. Like, mind you here, this whole time, I didn't know Colin's name. I didn't know his name. Like, I didn't know that he was Colin, because remember, we didn't exchange names. We just kind of, like, said hi and bye, exchanged a little bit of words, and then it was, like, really quick in passing. So, after my friend is telling me, like, "I met someone for you, like, here's his number, like, contact him." So I contact him, and I was like, "Hey, I'm Deshawn, like, nice to meet you. My friend told me to take down your number, so I just wanted to say hi and see how you were." So he's like, "Oh, okay, that's very nice of you. Like, hi, like, hope all is well. I'm just hanging out with my friend, yada yada yada." Long story short, I felt like that he was not being as responsive as I wanted him to be. Like, I felt like he kind of was, like, playing me off, or kind of, like, ignoring me or something. So I was like, "Excuse me, but, like, I'm not, like, about to be getting ignored." So I was going to cut him off. So I told my friend Edward, I was like, "I'm cutting him off. Like, I'm not talking to him anymore. I'm not about to be sitting here chasing after somebody that's not even, like, being responsive to my text messages. Like, who did he think he was?" So he was like, "No, you guys have to meet in person. You guys have to meet in person. Like, I know it. Like, I know it. So, pause. I'm going to stop that story, and then because Colin is not here, I'm going to give you his side of the story, and then I'll go back to my story and then tie it all together. So, on Colin's end, Colin had went out with one of his friends that night, and he had met up with one of his friends' friends. Now, one of his friends' friends basically was like, oh my gosh, like, Colin, I have someone for you. Like, I'm my best friend, like, he's gorgeous, like, you're gonna love him, like, oh my god, like, I can't wait to introduce you guys, like, it's gonna be amazing. And Colin was like, well, you know, I kind of met the most gorgeous man that I've ever seen in my life today, so I don't know if this guy will, like, top the guy that I saw today. So the guy, his Colin's friend's friend was like, oh no, he was not gorgeous. Wait until you see my friend. My friend is gorgeous. Like, that's who the real gorgeous person is. And Colin's just like, okay, if you say so. Like, if you say so. Like, so, come to find out, Colin's friend's friend was Edward. So, Edward, who is my friend, met Colin that day, the same day that I met him, and was trying to set me up with him, not knowing that me and Colin had already met that day on our own. Crazy. That's not even the crazy part, though. So, fast backwards to my story. All right, so remember, mind you here, I'm like about to be over it. I'm like, he's not being responsive. I don't know who this is. Like, bada bing, bada boom. So, literally, my friend is like, no, you're not about to give up. Like, this is going to be your husband. Like, this is the person who you need to be with. So, like, I'm going to have you guys meet. Like, you need to go over his house. So I was just like, oh, okay, like, I guess, like, if I need to go over his house, like, oh, I didn't really want to go over his house because I'm like, I don't know who this is, like, who is this person, like, what is going on? So, mind you here, guys, I forgot to add this, but my hair at the time was red. So I had red hair, like, very bright and vibrant. I'm talking Rihanna's Loud era, like, that type of red hair. So, literally, when I tell you, my friend was like, we're going over his house. So he calls Colin and he's like, hey, I'm going to bring my friend over to your house. Like, I want him to meet you. Like, you guys need to see each other, blah, 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 blah. So he's just like, okay, cool. Like, I guess that's fine, whatever. So, literally, we go over to this man's house. Mind you here, I don't know who I'm about to see. I don't know what's about to happen. But I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm down, let me see who this is. So we go over his house, we go to the door, knock, knock, knock. Then comes this man opening up the door, and boom, we land right in front of each other. It's Colin and it's me, and we're looking at each other and we're like, wait, like, don't I know you from somewhere? And then I realized who it was, and I was like, I take off my hat so then he can see my red hair, and I was like, it's me. Like, we met at my job, Retail Hell. And he was like, oh, like, yes, I know who you are. And it was so crazy and mind-blowing. The fact that we had already met prior to our, like, mutual friend trying to set us up, and then setting us up to the point to where now we went from being in retail hell to now I'm inside of your house with you, which then would 3 months later be my house that I'm living in, that is like my space because you and I are full on dating. It was insane. Like, we were tripping out. Like, both of us were kind of just looking. And crazy enough, y'all will never believe, he had a dude at his house when we popped up. Like, he definitely had a boy over there, like, watching movies, like, doing whatever, but definitely had somebody over there. But whatever, it wasn't even that big of a deal because by the end of the night we ended up talking out on his patio, and he basically, actually, I kind of did, this was where I was more aggressive. Like, at first it was more so him all being aggressive, but then at this point I kind of was a little aggressive, and I was just like, you know, I really enjoyed talking to you and meeting you, and obviously this has to be meant to be, so I'm willing to give it a chance if you are. I would like to see you more. And when I said that, he's like, you know, I would like to see you more too. And then he completely, from that point on, like, started texting me, and we were talking every day and planning out what was going to be our first date. I'm going to go into what our first date was like in another video, because I feel like that is just a whole completely different story. Like, oh, it was so much that was going on. But I mainly just wanted to tell you guys about the time that me and my ex-fiance met. Like, I am not making any of this up. It was a true serendipity story. We were meant to meet. We were meant to be in each other's lives, because there was no way that we met prior to having someone try to set us up. And almost it's just crazy even thinking about it again. Like, I'm getting chills, like, talking about it, because it was so crazy. Like, I had never had anyone just randomly be set up in my life like that. So that was the time that I met my ex-fiance. Like, I hope you guys enjoyed this story. Like, it is so crazy and shocking. If you guys have any crazy, shocking stories about how you met your boyfriend or your ex or your fiance or current fiance, husband, whatever, wife, etc., put it down in the comment box. I want to hear your stories too. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, share, turn on the post notifications so that you can know every single time I upload a video. And until next time, stay big.